Look. There we go. Hello YouTube. Got new glasses. Not important. Got a Turtles t-shirt. Not important, but really cool. Anyway, this is I've had an idea floating around in my head for a while. For those who don't know, I think like string theory, M theory, physics basically, has now posited and conclusively disagreed, maybe not so much proven, but shown compelling evidence to show that the universe as we know it is not three-dimensional, physically speaking. It is 10 physical dimensions. So you have up and down, left, right, forward, back, and then 7 more. So trying to wrap your head around that, the analogy they give is, imagine if you're an ant on a wire, like a telegraph pole, the wire coming off it to the ant, it's like really, really wide, and they can't really conceive of up, down quite the same way we can, or left, right, whatever. I mean, obviously you could, but that's kind of where the analogy sort of falls down. It's a problem with analogies. But basically they're saying it's like, well, imagine one of the dimensions is kind of off that way, but the problem is you can kind of look off. Anyway, it makes me think, what if those physical dimensions aren't physical in the sense we think of them as being? What if they're actually like planes of existence? That's why we only move in 3 of them at the time. Or actually we don't. Perhaps the reason so many people get that feeling of otherworldliness, the soul, if you like, is because the consciousness, the human consciousness, is actually in one of those other dimensions, 4th, 5th, whatever, and the physical body, we know, is trapped in these 3 dimensions. That's why some people get that disconnect. I think it's unlikely, personally, but it's an interesting idea. It also makes you think, what if those ghosts are? You know, what if the reason we can kind of see ghosts is because they're on the next plane, they're on the next dimension, the 4th, maybe 4th, 5th, and 6th, or whatever. And occasionally they kind of like bleed over a little bit into ours, which is why some people see them, and why we pick them up with cameras, because cameras work on different frequencies. Although they simulate what the eye does, they work in a different way. They pick up different frequencies. There was something I read in the 90s saying that ghosts had been proven to just be light phenomena, which could possibly even be as complex as literal echoes of past events, which is why people see things that happened in the past and we associate them as being ghosts. What they actually are is like light, basically, because that's what it is. I mean, we know this happens. We actually know that you can look into the past with a camera if you look in the right direction. When we look at galaxies up in the sky, we're seeing them as they were hundreds, thousands, millions, even billions of years ago, because the light just hasn't reached us yet. And there's nothing to say that the light can't hit something and then bounce back and maybe not be picked up by the human eye, because the human eye is adjusted to filter it out, because what's more important is what we need right now. And we human beings, eyes on the front of the head, like cats, are a predatory species. You need to see what's directly in front of you. You need to see what's there right now, because that's how you survive. You know, it's no good seeing the past, because that might confuse you and it might distract you, and it might let your din-dins get away, or it might let another predator come up behind you, like shoot you up and stuff. So anyway, yeah, basically that was it. I'm not quite sure how to formulate. I'm not a physicist. I'm just not. I know about physics. Just don't ask me about the maths, though. I'm useless with maths. I know what E equals mc squared means. I know what a lot of the theories and hypotheses are. I know what special relativity is. I can explain what it is. I just can't explain how. Like, you know, I keep forgetting what that word is. Algorithms, logarithms. The algebra, the equations. I can't explain what the equations are or even what they mean. Although there are some, like Fermi paradox, I can explain that one too. Go Google it. Fermi, it's F-E-R-M-E, I think. It's the one about alien life. But it's one of those things that sort of flicking around because there was another documentary I saw talking about what they call spears, which are these small objects that are believed to be about yay big that just sort of flit past cameras sometimes. Some of them look like the spinning corkscrew type things, some of them look like a long thing with lots of bars across it. Maybe they again are just creatures that exist in the fourth and above dimensions, are sometimes picked up by cameras. Or of course they could just as easily be like a tiny little piece of dust just going past the camera at high speed, because I mean the distance from there to there, if I do this, takes that bit, if I do that. So I'm not going to prove anything because I'm not a physicist. As I've said, I don't have the necessary training to explain it all in a way that other physicists or other people would even believe, but if there is anybody who can shed some light on the concept, at least it's a very bare bones hypothesis on my part, but it's not one I've come across being posited somewhere. I'm sure somebody else has come up with the idea, but it's not one I've come across personally. I must say, I haven't looked all that hard, but still, that's all I have to say on that. Also, I have cats. They are cat-like. Oh look, I did my garden, finally. I actually have a garden, look. I'm starting to get stuff growing already. I don't know if you can see it there, because stuff and things, but you know, I have a garden. So, until I ramble inanely about random stuff again next time, thank you for watching.